Welcome. Time to find out, can you beat Skyrim as a crusader? For this challenge, I'm only allowed to wear crusader armor and use the crusader weapon. And I will allow shouts since you have to do it to complete the main story anyway, and I wanted to allow it for this one to see if you guys were okay with that. If not, I won't allow shouts for any other challenge. Now, for my race, I picked Argonian for the healing ability. Now, maybe some of you would think the Orc would be better, but I feel like the quick regeneration is very underrated and will help me out in the long run more than doing double damage. As I picked my name, I then saw a dragon come down and save me, just like normal, as Sir Henry was ready to go on a crusade. But before I can do that, I have to escape Helgen, and I could go over everything I've done, but I feel like you've seen a million people do this and you played the game before, so I'm just going to speed through it. I left with Hagvar because, well, I'm an Argonian, I hate the Stormcloaks. As I watched him do most of the work, then I do a strategy called running away, and it works pretty well. The tutorial is really not that hard. Even on legendary difficulty, you could just run past them all. As then I started to run past all the frost spiders as I ran through the cave. It's kind of weird that I'm a lizard running away from spiders, but hey, I guess that's Skyrim for you. As then I leave the cave and go out into the outside world. Now it's finally time we get the armor, as I turned on survival mode. With legendary survival as an Argonian, yeah, their frost resistance isn't really that good, to the point where I honestly kind of regret choosing Argonian just because of their awful frost resistance. But I chose the warrior stone and I went off to find the crusader armor, which to get it, you're going to have to fight through bandits. Well, that's how you're supposed to do it. Since I can't use any armor or weapons, I just try to run towards them and get the armor. But I get shocked to death. Yeah, not a good first try. Eventually, though, I am able to sneak through the back and grab the armor. But there's a problem. Whenever I put it on, I get this, because apparently I stole, maybe? I don't know why. But I'm going to have to go pray at 9 shrines to be able to wear it. So, I steal a horse, which resets it, but since I haven't really prayed anywhere, it's okay. As then I go to a shrine and pray. As the horse runs off, I'm forced to take off my armor and mark my location, so I can come back for it later, so I'm not over encumbered. Yeah, now I'm not wearing anything, and I'm running out as an Argonian. Not really my best look. Luckily, I am able to carry the weapon, though, without being over-encumbered, so at least I have some offense. I just have no protection whatsoever on Legendary Survival difficulty. I'm able to make it to most of the shrines okay. Honestly, the enemies are pretty easy to avoid. The only thing I have to worry about is frostbite, which does get pretty annoying from times, but as long as I'm careful and find houses to go inside of and just, well, stand near the fire like this, I'll be okay. But there were definitely some close calls. But overall, it wasn't too difficult. But it also wasn't a walk in the park. Really, this armor would give me that notification when I didn't steal or kill anything. For like no reason, it would say you gotta go pray at the shrines because, well, the gods are disappointed at you. It would do that a lot. And that's one of the reasons why this video took so long to make, is because, well, on survival, I had to like go across here on a horse or moving in butter, it feels like. But eventually, I was able to pray at all of the shrines, one by one. So now we can actually finally begin the challenge. Yeah, this is the longest time I've ever talked without being able to begin the challenge, not gonna lie. As I came back for the armor, I was able to put it on and finally start the crusade. Oh yeah, since this is a Creation Club item, I assume this is overpowered, right? But anyway, I decided to upgrade my block by fighting Fourscore and any enemy I found. Because, well, like I said before, this is a Creation Club item, so it should make me overpowered. But I forgot how, well, dangerous Legendary was, and you'll see that in a second. I decided to join the Empire because, well, the Stormcloaks worship Talism, and that seems like a hostile faith, and Crusaders were just people who killed people because they worshipped a different religion. So, why don't I do that? But first, I gotta clear out a bandit camp. The bandits gave me, well, a bit more trouble than I was expecting, but I am kind of low level, and these are bandits on Legendary, so I guess that checks out, as they killed me quite a bit. So I have to use hit and run tactics and try to lure them in one-on-one, and that doesn't always work, as you can see. But eventually, I am able to take them down one by one, which is quite nice, I suppose. But the chief puts up more of a fight. However, there is a special technique, a technique called running away, as They can't kill you if they can't hit you. With hit and run tactics, I was eventually able to whittle the bandit down, killing the chief, and taking over the fort. Or so I thought. It turns out one of the bandits was about 13 kilometers away for some reason. I don't know why they ran away from the fort. I don't know how they got here. And this game had tons of glitches and things like this. They weren't game breaking, and Skyrim always had glitches, but annoying little stuff like this was all over this playthrough, and I have no idea why. Maybe the armor just broke the game, I don't know. As then I talk with General Talius, and I meet up with Hadvar, and it's time to take the crown. Apparently there's some crown that, as it's supposed to help Ulfric become elected High King or whatever. Anyway, I easily moved through these Stormcloaks. Just kidding, they destroyed me. Yeah, I'm used to just fighting on normal and just destroying them. This time, I actually kind of have to rely on my Imperial soldiers, which suck, but hey, as long as my soldiers are here and they're well distracted and they're being pushed down and have no way of fighting back, I easily take care of them because I am cool and a strong warrior. As I use the claw to do whatever lame puzzles they have, the puzzles really aren't that hard here. As I use my block skill on the Draugr, later, which say what you want about the Crusader weapons and armor, that shield is really good. As then I am forced to use my special ability just to survive, which, like I said before, the Argonian special ability is extremely underrated. I don't know why more people don't play as Argonians. Anyway, I then return with the crown. Then I go and test my block skill. I wanted to level up my block, considering, well, this is legendary, and most things kill me in 3 hits. Maybe if I actually had a good shield, it wouldn't kill me in 3 hits. So I go around fighting bandits, fighting crap, basically anything that can level up my block skill as I go around blocking attacks from any enemies I can find. As then I go in and decide to do the main mission. Sadly, you have to because, well, the Jarl of Whiterun does not accept your axe unless you help him out. So, sadly, I'm going to have to go in and get the dragonstone. As I go in and fight some bandits, the bandits there are pretty tough, but I'm able to take them down. Luckily, fire is kind of OP right now. It becomes, well, almost useless in the later game, but for now, this malice is kind of good, as I'm able to strike him down. As I continue through, I then find a frost spider that kills me very easily, so I am forced to use hit and run tactics, getting it trapped in the doorway, running in, doing as much damage as possible, and running back. Yeah, it's kind of painful, but eventually I am able to kill the giant frost spider and level up my one-hand skill. I don't know why, but weapon skills level up way more than armor and block in this game. I don't know if that's just me, or maybe I'm dumb, maybe everyone knew that. Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I'm able to easily make it past these Draugr because it's kind of easy to stun block them. Just kidding, I die easily because I suck. After dying a few times, well, more than a few, let's be honest, I am able to deal with them by making them run towards me and luring them away from the big group. As it's not really easy, I am able to tear through them. And I try to lure them into a trap, but for the first time ever, the trap doesn't work. They just run past it like it's nothing. I've never seen that before. Have you ever seen these guys run through a trap like it's nothing and actually act like they're smart? Because that's what happened for me. As then, I deal with the Draugr Overlord, and yeah, this fight will not be easy. No matter what difficulty you're on, this fight is always annoying, but on Legendary, you have to be very, very smart. You can't fight him straight up like a warrior, like I tried, because I'm stupid. You have to use hit and run tactics and play ring around the rosy with pillars or anything nearby, just to do the ultimate hit and run tactic to try to, well, kill the Draugr Overlord. And it took me a couple tries, but eventually I was able to knock it down and kill it, taking the dragonstone. As then I go back and they're relieved. So now I gotta fight a dragon that's attacking Whiterun. Now I don't really want to do this because after this dragons will spawn naturally in the game, but I don't really have a choice. I'm not a little wuss, even though I hid in the tower and waited for the guards to do a lot of the work, but we're just gonna pretend that didn't happen, okay? Eventually though, I did go down and start doing some work and my special ability, but I'm not a dark elf, so fire does a lot of damage to you even when you're regenerating fast. But eventually I was able to almost kill it and die anyway, but eventually I was able to finally kill it and get this amazing kill shot. Look at this. Ignore the part where I hid and I died a million times when he only had 2 health, but Focus on this. Bam! Look at that epic kill shot. Yeah. Now that's glorious. Anyway, after killing the dragon, I then went back to Whiterun, and we can finally continue with the Civil War questline and stop the Talus heretics. As then I went to Ulfric and told him about the Whiterun message. And he told me to bring back the axe, and then they attacked Whiterun, so I had to defend it. And, well, defending Whiterun is quite difficult, I'm not gonna lie. I tried to stop them from breaking in, but I've never, ever been able to stop them from breaking in before. I don't know if you guys have been able to. If so, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, luckily the Imperial Legion was here. But I am still low level, and this is legendary. It doesn't matter what weapons I have, what techniques I'm using. Unless I'm straight up hacking. If I'm low level on legendary, I am gonna die. Unless I'm a stealth archer, because that's just too overpowered. Speaking of death, there's one. Hooray! Yay! Fighting the Stormcloaks is so much fun. I am able to stop them, though. One by one, body by body, I tear them down. That's what they get for worshiping the wrong faith and rising up against, you know, the Empire and hating Argodian. As I go to the Empire's camp, and they give me new orders. As I am supposed to deliver some messages. But to do that, I had to kill the courier and take his messages. As I'm supposed to deliver a false support. As then I go back and tell her what I did, I then go back and deliver the fake messages, tricking the Stormcloaks. After I tricked the Stormcloaks, however, I got this message. Apparently the guys weren't happy with me killing one of the Stormcloaks, so I guess Talos is real. Oh well, since I have a horse that's actually not stolen, it's way easier for me to get all the blessings. As I go to shrine, getting the blessings one by one. Not gonna lie, this armor is kind of annoying. Sometimes it would just fire when I haven't killed or stole anything, and I would just have to reload because I don't know what I did wrong. I wish the armor would tell me, hey, if you do this, you're not going to be worthy, instead of just giving me that notification, because sometimes I don't even know what I did. But yeah, that's only a minor setback in the grand scheme of things, and if you weren't on survival, you could just fast travel to each one of them, and it wouldn't even be that big of a deal after taking off your armor, remember where it was. But I'm not, well, playing normally, so I have to ride a horse to each shrine. So yeah, now it's time for me to do everyone's favorite part of the quest, clearing out forts, as it's time to clear out some Stormcloak forts. I mean, they do get tedious after a while, and it's kind of generic, but it's always fun to fight stuff, and it gives me an excuse to level up my block and to level up my one-arm skill, and to die on camera because I suck at the game. But yeah. Also, side note, why is every fort in the game in a snowy place? Like, it got to the point where I had to run inside and get warm. And I could have used a campfire, but I forgot that that even existed in the game until later, that you can build your own campfire sets. So, whoops, silly me. Anyway, me and my homies just slowly wear down the Stormcloaks one by one, killing them and trying to wipe them off the face of the earth, like every good crusader would do. And yeah, I did have some challenges here and there, and my horse walked in front of me, which I thought was actually kind of funny, so I kept that in. As I died from arrows. I tried to get my block skill up so arrows don't affect me, but spoiler alert, I never did. Also, at the beginning of the game, without a lot of block skill or heavy armor, I am basically a glass cannon. I do decent enough damage, but I die pretty easily. But besides that, the challenge itself so far wasn't going too hard. As long as I was careful and wasn't an idiot, because most of those deaths were because I was an idiot, I'm able to take care of them. As I then completed the fort, driving out the Stormcloaks. As then, it was finally time for me to blackmail Jarl. As I collected the papers and brought it to the Jarl, she was upset by this. So, she told me where the Stormcloaks were keeping a shipment of gold, as me and the Imperials robbed the shipment of gold. I don't know if this is warfare or just plain old robbery, but either way, I decide not to think about it. Which there's not much to say about it because, well, it's basically a fort mission, but 10 times easier. But I got this notification, my crimes, even though all I did was kill some Stormcloaks. I know I said this before, but I am absolutely certain now that Talos exists, because every time I would do a Stormcloak mission, there was like a 50% chance I would get that notification at this point. So I went back to get my blessings, then I went on to fight against the Stormcloaks, because screw you, Talos, you're not a god I worship. as it was time for me to do some more fort missions. These missions are kind of fun. They are tedious, but like I said before, they do help level you up, even though they are difficult, as I get killed a lot here. But most of the time when I get killed, I get too cocky because I think they're too much damage to beat me, and then I'm proven wrong, as eventually I do complete the fort. Nice. After that, along the way, I almost freeze to death, so I'm forced to get up to next to a fire and hope I don't die, because I'm an Argonian, and the cold is not my friend. After doing that, I then try to meet up with some Imperials, but they decide to make a camp right next to the strongest bandits in the game. Not even kidding. Luckily though, all I had to do was run past them and run into the fort, and I didn't have to fight the bandits or even meet up with my Imperial friends. So I go in there, lockpick the doors, and free the prisoners, as then I lead an army out and we fight the Stormcloaks, as they all came after me, so I was not that happy. So I had to run back until I hit a wall, and well, yeah, this wasn't fun. Eventually though, I was able to weave out of the way and distract them, as me and Hadvar were the only survivors. After that, it was finally time to take the fight to the Stormcloaks and assault their capital. As me and my men launched the invasion into the capital, we slaughtered Stormcloak after Stormcloak, making our way up. And it was quite fun. I mean, I could just rush my way there, and I definitely didn't try that and die a bunch of times, but eventually I make it in, and I die almost immediately to a headbutt. Yeah, Ulfric's man is, he's no joke. But eventually I'm able to slaughter him with some good old speed jabs. When someone blocks, you just keep hitting them over and over again instead of using a power attack, so you get more damage overall. Pro tip. As then, I was able to kill Ulfric, ending the Civil War and destroying Talos' worship. But Talos decides to prove that he's real once and for all. After I'm done teabagging him, Talos then sends me a message and says I need to pray to more shrines. Yeah, I'm convinced this is like canon that Talos was a god, because every time I do this, I end up getting that event. Anyway, it's time for my second main crusade before I start the main quest. Even though I probably should have done the main quest first, because this DLC is hard as balls, but oh well. As it's time for me to kill some vampires. As I go in, they just destroy me with their blood magic. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever done the quest on the Dawnguard side, because I hate fighting vampires. They're the most annoying things to fight. When you do this quest, do you go with the Dawnguard or the vampires normally? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm actually kind of curious right now. The skeletons and dogs were also very annoying, but they weren't super hard to deal with. The most annoying thing were the vampires themselves. But with some willpower, tries again, and many saves, eventually I managed to lock up the main vampires. After locking them up in a cage, except for one who I had to fight, after that I didn't use my blood to start a puzzle so I can free Serana. The puzzle was quite easy, so there's really no point in me showing it. After freeing Serana, I then talked to her, and is off to see her dad, Lord Harkon, and for the first time ever, I actually refuse his gift. I also wish you could side with Harkon, but no matter who you go with, sadly you have to side with Serana. I mean, Harkon is such a cool character, I just wish you could side with him. If anyone else has a mod where you can side with Harkon and sacrifice Serana, please let me know, because I definitely would play it. Anyway, after that, we didn't get ambushed by vampires. I talked to the Dawnguard, and they tell me it's time to assemble their version of the Avengers. As one of them's so lazy, they can't even go after a bag that has dwarven runestones in it. As then I go back to her, give her the stone. After that, it was off to recruit another person. But before we can do that, we then had to kill spiders, because, well, why not? This guy picks a fight with everything in the forest, so you have to fight before you can talk to him, which is always annoying. After murdering some spiders and going hunting, he then begins to tell me about a bear he was tracking, and now he needs help for me to kill it. So, I agree, as me and him team up on the cave bear. Luckily, the cave bear just focuses on him, so I'm able to attack it from behind and light it on fire. And my fire damage is already starting to, well, become less and less noticeable. By the end game, it's really not that much. After that, I come back, and they tell me good job for recruiting them, as then Serana shows up, and she asks for my help, saying we need to team up to beat her father. As then I do the Atronac stone, which makes it so I absorb 50% magic. So then I go off. Now I have to find a moth priest, because only a moth priest can read the dragon scroll, as we find out his guards were ambushed by vampires and he was taken away. So I had to go and save them. And these vampires are surprisingly easy to kill. I mean, they do quite a bit of damage to me because it's legendary, but I do more damage to them surprisingly. So I figure, hey, this is going to be easy, you know? I'm just going to easily kill them and easily take care of this because, you know, I'm the man. But I was surprisingly wrong, because even though the vampires themselves were easy to take care of, there's someone who wasn't easy to take care of. And that, of course, was the Moth Priest himself, because I didn't know he was hypnotized and would fight against you. And he just kills me instantly, because this is legendary, I'm not allowed to have fun, as he just beats the ever-living crap out of me. And this is where the point of the video where I decided to allow shouts, because no matter how much damage I did to him, he would just destroy me. And I figured that it would be possible to do this DLC without shouts, but it would take me a month, so I'm not gonna do that. And if you are upset with that, so be it. Just don't watch the video. I don't care. As then I went to Riften, and surprisingly a dragon showed up, and that's where I got the shout slow down time, which would help me throughout this entire video. And the shout itself doesn't do any damage. And a lot of people don't allow shouts that do damage, but they allow shouts that don't do damage, like slow down times and become Imperial. So technically, it kind of blends the rules of the challenge, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, I also beat my horse to up my one-arm skill, because you could just beat your horse to level up any skill. Fun fact. As then, he still just kills me over and over and over and over, and just, yeah, it's just so much fun. So yeah, after, well, just dying over and over and over, eventually I was able to do this, and this took me like 3 or 4 hours, not gonna lie. The Moth Priest is like the boss of bosses. He is like on steroids. I think he's may even be harder than the Alduin fight. Like, I don't know why people don't up this guy up more in like their comments and stuff. Anyway, after that I went to the College of Winterhold, and we talked about this guy named Septus, who was insane and would help me find the dragon scroll. As then he told me where to find the dragon scroll, which is in an ancient dungeon guarded by dwarven spiders and other dwarven machines. So yeah, that's so much fun. Surprisingly, my fire does well against metal. You don't think it would because it's, well, metal. But yeah, I also had to play Ring Around the Rosie with another explorer, as we find out who wins, lizard or cat. And surprisingly enough, lizard wins. I mean, I did have to play Ring Around the Rosie and heal all the time, but we're gonna ignore that. After that, I then run past and trap some dwarven spiders and laugh at them. I also use the slow down time effect. I wish I had the become eternal shout so I could just jump past them all, but sadly I didn't, as I'm forced to slow down and run past all my enemies. And there's not really much to talk about here, because I just slow down time and die over and over again. So we're just going to skip past it until I eventually get the scroll. After getting the scroll, I then go back to Septus because I had the wrong quest marked and thought I needed to go back to him. Oh well. And then I go back to Serana, and Serana tells me good job, as in we go off to her home place so we can infiltrate the castle and find out where her mom is. And then I get this notification and die. I do reload a couple saves back, which fixes it, but I did not steal or kill anything that wasn't hostile, so I don't know why I got that. My only guess is sometimes I would accidentally hit Serana, so maybe that's what caused it, but overall, I honestly have no clue why that happened. Like, no clue whatsoever. As then we make it to the center of the room, do the moon puzzle, and then fight through some Draugr. And yeah, overall, it's quite easy, just really time consuming, because Serana acts like the perfect meat shield as I slowly beat down the Draugr and the gargoyles. But sometimes I do get too cocky and die every once in a while. I am only human after all. And I do make a lot of mistakes because, well, let's be honest, I do suck at this game, even though I do challenge runs on it. After dealing with some skeletons, eventually I make it to the final room, as I hide on a ladder and use Serana as a meat shield as I come down and beat them anytime I can do damage to them. And I also use the slow down time shout so I can get more hits in, and since gargoyles are already slow, they practically can't hit me, until I get too cocky and die a few times. But after that, I am able to eventually beat them all down to death and make it into the center of the castle, and it's time to enter a portal to find Serana's mom. As then I'm able to enter the portal. As I have a choice, become a vampire or have my soul be partly stolen. I chose partly stolen because, well, I decided to be against the run to become a vampire. But to be honest with you, I honestly wish I would have became a vampire, because having my soul be partly stolen means my magic regenerated less, I took damage easier, it was just a big pain. And these guys, the keepers, would kill me in only 2 hits, so I had to be really, really smart. I mean, I think this took me an entire day to fill out just this quest alone. As I got lucky with one of them because they got distracted with the light thing. Like a fly to the light, I would run up, hit them a couple times, and run away. Also, my charge was down because I was an idiot and didn't buy more charges. That's definitely my fault, not the game's fault, but I just still wanted to point that out. As I would use slow down time, hit the keeper a little bit, and then run away whenever I could. It was a very long and time-consuming process, and this was only the first one, because, of course, there was 3 of them. But eventually, I was able to kill the first keeper. Hip hip, hooray! As I slaughter the first keeper, I then go to the second one, which I try to push him off the edge, and it kind of works, but he lands on the second one. As I try to use shield bashing to push him off, because, well, I don't have unrelived in force yet. As I try to push him off, he just shoots me with a couple arrows and I die. I do use exploits in my videos a lot. Willow would be ashamed, but yeah, after being stuck on this for an entire day, I am really not that sad. As then, I'm able to use shield bashing to knock off the keeper. Now there's only one left, the hardest one, because this one is actually fast when he swings. The first one was quite slow, the second one was easy to push off, but this guy, he is fast, and he does chase you, and it's harder to get him distracted, but not impossible. He does become distracted by light, but after a while, he will turn back and attack you, unlike the others, for whatever reason. I honestly don't know why. Luckily, Sharana acts like the perfect meat shield for him, as I'm able to lower the keeper's health until he actually runs away. And as he runs away, he actually turns and attacks me, killing me. I mean, look at this. Look at this. He has 1 health. I'm charging after him, and then he just turns around and kills me. Honestly, not even mad. That was kind of impressive. But eventually, I'm able to knock him down, killing the last keeper. As then, I think I'm finally done, but I'm not. Because, of course, there's another boss battle, because why wouldn't there be? This is Skyrim Legendary. As now, I have to fight a buttload of skeletons and a literal dragon, because, well, yay, I love this DLC. It's so much fun. Luckily, I still have the slow down time shout, and there's 2 companions next to me, Sharana and her mother. And by the way, I don't allow companions, but sadly, you have to have Sharana as a companion for this quest, so I will allow it here for rare circumstances when they force one on me. As then, I slay the dragon, and I free Sharana's mom. Hip hip hooray. After that, I then grab what I need to, get in the scroll, and the dragon talks to me, saying I can summon him, but I don't have enough dragon souls, so it doesn't matter. As then, I get my soul back, making it so I'm not weak. But something happens. Even though I'm able to do this, for some reason, it says this. Even though I didn't steal, I didn't kill, so I don't know what happened. So I have an idea. I reload. You see, if you don't have the armor or weapons equipped, you can't get the notification. So I take off all my armor and weapons so I can travel faster, until I eventually get out and put it back on and then go to the shrines one by one. After that, I go back to the moth priest and he lost his eye. I then talked to him and realized his eyes were burnt out from the scroll. So I had to have a bunch of, not kidding, moths help me figure out what the scroll says by chopping off some wood and gather them around me. Because moths can help you read scrolls, apparently. I don't... what has even happened at this point? I don't know. As then I'm able to read the scroll, and it tells me where to go. As I have to go through this cave and get this bow to kill Lord Harkon. So that's exactly what I do. But as I'm walking on this, well, bridge, it falls off and I fall in the water. I can breathe underwater, though, so it's really not that big of a deal. Which isn't even that useful as a trait in survival because 90% of the water in Skyrim is cold and kills you. As then, I make it to the snow elf who tells me he'll only help me if I kill his brother who's been corrupted or whatever. So I say great, and to get to him, I have to fill a bucket of water from each shrine. Luckily though, I do have the slow down time, as the rest of the snow elves, or the corrupted as he calls them, chase after me. As I eventually make it to Ghost, and I have to listen to their long monologue before I can fill a bucket of water, because, well, Why wouldn't you have to do that? Isn't this so much fun? Isn't Skyrim just so fun? Isn't this DLC just so much fun? As I avoid enemies and go to shrine, collecting water after water, it's not too difficult. As then, I'm gonna give you a pro tip. If you walk across this ice lake, dragons will spawn, and they are almost impossible to kill. So, walk around it. Go through this mountain and never walk over the ice lake. Pro tip, if you do this DLC, just never walk over the ice lake. That's certain death, and if you do that, then, well, it's your funeral. As then, I was able to use the slow down time shout just to make it past them all. As after making it past them all, I was able to fill up my bucket of water, filling up the last one, now ready to fight. As it's time for a boss fight, I have no idea what to expect, as he summons many of these weird snow monsters around me, and there's a bunch of people frozen to death, but things right now isn't really too hard. I wish in Skyrim you would just fight the boss instead of fighting minions first, because it's fun and creative the first time, but after a while it just gets bored, and it just feels tedious, so I just wish I just wouldn't have to fight the minions first. I feel like it's just kind of irritating after a while. If anyone agrees, let me know in the comments below. As then Serana picks him up to gather his blood, because he made the prophecy to get revenge on a god, yada 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 yada. I just want this DLC to end, to be honest with you. But he shakes the entire world and begins to fight me. As I start to battle him, there's a problem. I hide and try to get Serana to get up and take care of him, but she stays down, and he kills me with one hit. Unless I absorb the magic, so it's basically a 50-50 chance. And I keep getting the crime notification, so there's two ways to do this. Get a special shout, or become immune to magic altogether. But to do that, I have to become a vampire, and like I said, I don't want to become a vampire at all. As then, I decided to go to, well, the Greybeards. As then, I decided to learn Unrelenting Force, which if you know, is the best way to beat that boss fight, and is the only way on Legendary, because I don't know how it's possible to beat him without it. I also learned Wind Spirit, but before I can learn the whole shout, I have to return the horn. I do need the horn and wind caller for them to teach me the entire shout though, so I go into a dungeon and clear it out. The dungeon is actually very easy compared to the DLC. Then I learned that the horn was stolen by Dolphine, which kind of irritates me. I decided to go meet her so she gives me back the horn. But I'm not going to continue her quest because I want to finish that DLC right now, and I need this shout to do it. And yeah, after learning the shout, I'm not proud of this, but I then sit there and let the Greybeards yell at me. And while the old men yell at me, I think of doing something awful, something that some people might consider a fail to the challenge. Even though I didn't directly kill him, this is still my fault. I tried to push him off the first time, but he actually stays there, and promptly gets revenge on me. But the second time, I'm able to walk up to him and push him off the edge, killing him instantly. After a day of hard work, he dies just like that. And then we are told how to kill Harkon and are given to the bow, as we can finally go in and finally kill him. After that, I then grab the bow, talk to Serana, and begin the assault on the castle. As I talk to the Dawn Guard, they then agree to help me. As then, me and the rest of the Dawn Guard charge in and fight gargoyles and all kinds of enemies. But after a while, I decide to just charge in so I could save my soul charges. As then, I make it to Lord Harkon and give him the bow so I can fight him fair and square. Sadly, he doesn't kill Serana, which, like I said before, I wish there was a way just to help him. But even as a vampire, you can't do it. Oh well. He then becomes glitched where he doesn't fight back, which is honestly kind of nice. And I thought I was able to kill him, but he just heals back instantly. Like, I get to where he's dead, and he just looks at me. And there's nothing I can do. I can't do enough damage to actually defeat him. I just beat on him over and over and over again, and nothing really happens. So, I have to reload, and he punishes me by killing me instantly. Eventually, though, I am able to kill him. It took a long time, and an entire 2 days. Not gonna lie, I'm not even exaggerating. This boss fight pissed me off. I had to use so many exploits against magic just to get rid of him. And if I showed you, the game would be an hour long. As then, I was able to kill him and then go out. As now, it was time for me to go with Dolphine and finally complete the main quest. At this point, I've been doing this challenge for about a week, and a half. So yeah, I was honestly just decided to end it as I die, because this is legendary. Eventually I become over encumbered, even though I committed no crimes. I hate that. So I had to fight him on a horse, which makes it easier and more challenging. It's more challenging to hit him, but it's easier not to get hit, so it kind of balances out. Eventually he does a kill move on me. He does that a lot, but eventually one of his kill moves gets kind of, well, strange. As I am battling him on my horse, he does a kill move on me, but I don't die. Instead, I am just there. And then I go absolutely flying, and I'm like, okay, what is happening? And then I go 20 feet in the air, and I pause the game, and I am dying laughing at this point. Fun fact, this crashed my entire computer. So don't fight dragons on horses. Skyrim apparently cannot handle that. As eventually I am able to beat him to death, killing a dragon and proving to Dolphine that yes, I am in fact the Dragonborn. As now it's time to infiltrate the thalmor, as I'm forced to wear party clothes to do it, so I failed the challenge. Thank you all for watching. I'm just kidding. I do allow myself to wear these clothes because I don't actually fight in them, and you know, you kind of have to. So after that, I use a drunk to get in, and I fight some thalmor, which honestly, with my new magic absorption, does pretty dang well against them. I mean, don't get me wrong, they still hurt me quite a bit sometimes, but they're actually somewhat manageable and reasonable to take down. And after dealing with the Dawnguard DLC, which made me want to rip out my hair multiple times and cuss out like a little baby, this honestly doesn't feel that bad and feels like a cakewalk compared to that, as I'm able to get rid of them and free the prisoner. As then I'm able to save Malborn for the first time ever. No joke, I've never saved him. Never on a casual run, never on a playthrough, never saved Malborn until now. I don't know how I was able to save him this time. I don't know how it worked out, but it just did. As then I craft a campsite because I am going to need it, because I am going to fight Alduin, and on my last game, I froze to death after fighting him, and I'm not going to make that same mistake twice. As I travel through the ratways, killing everything in my sight, so I can make it to Esbern. As the thalmor put up somewhat of a fight here, but like I said before, they're actually fun to fight, as I'm actually having a good time here, as I deal with them by decapitating her. I'm not really monetized yet, so I have to worry about demonetization, but as soon as I do, I'm probably not going to show things like that anymore. FYI, as then I destroy the thalmor with my boy Esbern. Esbern is kind of a tank, not going to lie. As then we go to the Sky Heaven Temple, and I use my blood to open the door, and discover a legend of how they defeated Alduin, about a shout called dragonrend. As then I go to the old men, and they refuse to teach me, because it's past their bedtime. So then I have to meet up with Parthenax, as I craft my fireplace and talk to him. As Parthenax agrees to show me how to do it, but I need the scroll first, but I already have it, so I look through it and go back in time. But my fireplace went back in time with me. I don't know if the scroll traveled it with me or if that's a glitch. Definitely a glitch. But hey, Skyrim is Skyrim, right? And then I was actually able to do decent damage against Alduin, which is actually, well, surprising. However, he does way more damage to me, but I'm able to hide behind rocks and do hit and run tactics. It does get me killed a lot, but eventually I'm able to fight him back and do some more damage to him, as I use Parthenax as a meat shield to attack him from the sides. As Alduin does turn around and almost kill me, I'm able to run to the rocks sometimes and be safe. Other times I die, but this was one of those lucky times. Eventually though, Parthenax fights him as Alduin gets stuck on my fireplace. My fireplace actually saved me. I didn't know this was an exploit, but hey, the more you know. So kids, if you want to fight Alduin, put down a fireplace. Maybe he'll get stuck on it. I don't know the likelihood of that happening, but it happened here, so hey, at least we know it's possible. After that, I go to the Jarl of Whiterun and tell him I want to trap a dragon in his house, and he says okay, as then we trap a dragon. As I humiliate the dragon and laugh at him, he then whines and tells me to let him go, so I do, so he flies me off to Southernguard. After going to Southernguard, I then use my shouts to run past all the enemies and just go into the door. As this was kind of annoying, this is the hardest part about the second Alduin fight. Not Alduin himself, just all of his enemies, as I had to run by them. because since we're on legendary, I can't do enough damage to kill them. Even with 101 arm strength, my damage is kind of lackluster at this point, so I'm forced to use my special ability to kill one of them just to get past them all. As then I jump into a portal and finally go into the afterlife, as now finally this hell can end and I can kill Alduin, right? No, I have to pass the test first. Of course I do. But by using the slow down time shout, I'm able to pass the test and get in. As then me and the rest of the ancient heroes use the clear wind shout to clear the wind so we can weaken Alduin. This fight is basically the original Alduin fight, but 10 times easier, as me and my friends are able to gang up on him and I'm just able to spam dragonrend, cause him to land down. As since I absorb magic, anytime he hits me, I'm able to use regeneration, as I'm able to beat him down and eventually kill him. I'm not gonna lie, this challenge was very hard, and it took me about a week and a half to make this, which shocked me because, well, I thought it was going to be easy because these were Curation Club items. I guess for once, Todd Howard didn't bless me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your friends. And let me know what challenge videos you want down in the comments below. Love you all. Peace out.